Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. 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 Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram Om. 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 hotspot is on. Hotspot is on. That is gone modem as well.
Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om. 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 Shri Pranam, Pranam, Pranam. For a few days, to make our Ram Nam chanting more and more effective, from the surface level to a deep level. So, we should try. There is no shortcut. The mind absorbed in the sound, we rise higher into a state of super consciousness where there is absolute soundlessness. First, I should chant. What is the outcome? It is what comes out of that infinite silence. When we repeat the mantra aloud, we tune ourselves to the sound produced by it, and through the sound, we enter into the perfect stillness within us. So this is what we are trying, no? Every individually try, the mind will get easily disturbed. But since we hear the sound, what happens is the outcome. When the process itself will give the outcome, why should we now preconceive this? Not necessary. So with that bhavana, we will do 3 times or 5 times Ram Nam in a slow tune. Try to hear and see for hours is what happens. We may still go out. Let us not get upset over it. Base the arm with that base. That is the idea. God is within us in the form of peace, in the form of quietude, in the form of silence, in the form of stillness, nishchala tattva. Papa is slowly driving us towards that. Shri Ram Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram
Kindly mute the audio, please.
Gauri Shankar.
That is why we felt that this cannot be done in a correct manner. We must choose 5 minutes a position to go out. Suppose you have got a nearby park, or you are walking on a street where there are not many. We will try, when the proportionate to the intensity within us, God will definitely facilitate us to have a congenial atmosphere to develop this state of mind. But it is essential because we are trying, the mind is so much crowded with thoughts. We are trying to settle the vacillations in the mind and try to capture, even for a quarter of a second, that stillness. Just like when we learn cycling, how many days we do that perseveringly. Our goal is very clear, swimming. Direct experience, still more subtle. So here, so that Nishtaya, which speaks of Papa in the vision of God. At a particular place, somebody gave a complaint to the police that two people have come this town to create trouble. And they have named Papa as well as the Sadhu Ram. So two policemen came there. They took out the pen and the book. What is your name? Papa Ramdas. What is your address? Entire universe. He said, don't play with us, we are police people. Come on, tell us where is the whole universe. When they lost their temper, they said, we are going to arrest you and take you there. Papa calmly said to Ramdas, this place and the prison does not make any difference. And you are also his form. And he says, when the mother wants to frighten the child, she puts something on her head. But when the child knows that it is her mother only, she will remove it. Similarly, we know you are there in this form. So you will not punish us, You will take us from this place to that place. All in a calm and peaceful. That particular calmness or quietude or the equipoise transformed the policemen. They apologized, Maharaj, we are sorry. We were watching you. In spite of our abusive approach, you had this calmness with you. That means what, He was always connecting himself to the Nischala Tattva within. So we want that technique. It is not a theory. It is something he has experienced. Even in times of crisis, not in the sattvic atmosphere like this. In a most tense giving, situation, Papa was in a position to I will read it again. It was in Goa. At about 10 o'clock, as the day advanced, the rush of visitors increased. Presents flowed in abundance. The offering of coconuts swelled into a big pile. There was quite a shower of grapes, dates, sugar candy, which Ramdas distributed freely among the innumerable village children. Ramcharandas heartily joined in his task. Now people thickly thronged the room, the doorway, the outside. At about 10 o'clock in the forenoon, two Mohammedan policemen came to the temple. They wedged their way through the crowd and, roughly brushing aside the people at the entrance, got into the room occupied by Ramdas and Ramcharandas. Their grizzly beard and rolling eyes signified their stern mission. Stamping their boots on the ground, they glared at the sadhus. One of them, taking out the notebook and pencil from his pocket, spoke in a loud and commanding voice, "Are these the sadhus? Well, give me your address. Quick, we are in a hurry." Addressing Ramcharandas, "Here, come along. What is your native place?" Ramcharandas was perplexed, turned to Ramdas for a hint. "Ram, don't hesitate. Give your name and tell him that you are a native of Mangalore." His name and address were duly noted down by the policeman. Now he turned his gaze at Ramdas. "Your name?" "Ramdas." "Native place?" "The whole universe." At this reply he stiffened, working up his eyes into a ferocious stare. Blurted out, "Beware, none of your jokes with me. Don't you see who I am? Which is your native place?" Ramdas replied again, "The whole universe." Ramdas was cool and all smiles. The reiteration thoroughly roused the policeman, stamping his right foot down with great, "None of your fooling with me. If you don't reply sensibly, I will have you arrested and put you into custody. Do you understand?" Ramdas answered, "If you are so kind as to take this servant, he would thank you indeed. It matters little where he thinks of God. A prison is as good as a palace." And with a cheerful smile he added, "O God, thy Leela is wonderful. Thou alone who has come in this form." The mother sometimes, when she wants to subdue the obstinate will of her child, puts on a frightening mask and pretends to be a hobgoblin. So long as the child is unaware of the fact that it is the mother who is behind the mask, it yields to fear. But when it knows that it is the mother who personates the frightful thing, instead of being moved by the sight, it pulls down the mask, reveals to itself her real identity. So it is with thee. Thou art he, the beloved of Ramdas. Thou mayest assume any disguise, but he can see thee through it. He is not afraid of thee. He replies in the words which thou thyself hast taught him. Policemen listened to him patiently. Ramdas was calm and cheerful as ever. A sudden change came upon the policeman. The ferocious look vanished from his eyes, giving place to one of resignation. His hot and flushed face resumed its calmness. "Maharaj," he addressed Ramdas with eyes lowered and hands folded, "1,000 pardons for my folly. Without knowing you, I harassed and abused in strong language. The thing that disarmed me was your face, which remained ever smiling during all the time I was rating and insulting you. It behaved like a brute. I behaved like a brute. Pardon, pardon I seek." Then silently pocketing his notebook, he proposed to depart with his companion. Ramdas then offered them each a piece of coconut and some dates as prasad, which they received in all humility and left the place. Love triumphed over hate and harshness. Now we are looking back. He was also chanting Ramnam. He was also practicing meditation. Through that intense practice, he was able to connect himself to the Nishala Tattva within, and so he was unruffled, unaffected by anything that was happening outside. So this is the ideal which we are keeping before us. For that now he has given us a technique. The technique is, you try to chant the name try to hear the sound, concentrate on the sound, and through the sound enter into the Nishchala Tattva. You must have been trying, practicing it for so many days or weeks or months, we don't know. So once we do that, if the mind does not behave, let us not get dispirited or dejected. It's a tremendous effort we have to put in. Because the mind has been unruly, The moment we wake up, from that moment, the mind is not in our control. We are under its control. So it may not behave well. So we will try this. So this 5 minutes trial with all intensity will definitely help us to have this fusion between the Nishchala Tattva and our yawning mind. क्या हुआ? Is it clear?
Yes, Swami. Yes, Swami.
So this slow chanting Ram Nam, we try to hear. Let us put in all our earnestness in this endeavor. That process will give us the output. With that background, again we will try 3 times Ram Nam. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. So we repeat every day, preferably in the morning when the mind is fresh. Let us set apart 5 minutes alone. Chant the name in slow speed. Travel with the sound. And when it stops, we will become the recipient of that effort. That is the message, powerful message Papa is giving to all of us. Now going back to the boards, today we will have a quick recap right from the first. For those who are attending for the first time, we are just briefing about this board. It was on December 27th, 1922 that Papa was prompted to take the drastic decision of taking a leap, and that resulted in his first yatra, where he was wholly and solely depending upon God and God alone. And traveled about 500 to 600 miles on those days, right from deep south to the far north. And how God gave him so many such experiences in which he was able to see the finger of God in anything and everything. And after coming back at the Panchapandava cave in Mangalore, for the sake of all of us, he started noting down the entire yatra narrative in the chronological order in simple language, not bombarding with high-sounding words. And that was his first book called In Quest of God. So last year, when the prompting came to recognize this, Ashram does not celebrate anything, but we can call it a celebration, centenary celebration. So during that 1 year, we were prompted to make an in-depth study of this book in its relation to our day-to-day life, not merely Papa's. And during the centenary programs, again the prompting came to bring out 31 boats, 30 boats, okay. Each board will carry Papa's words, something about the place he visited. This is the background. So first board, Vittal Rao, as beloved Papa Swami Ramdas was known before embracing sannyas, was struggling in the whirlpool of worldly life until he was lifted up by the indwelling infinite power. He felt that he was called by the divine to leave his cocooned life of severe limits and fling himself into the vast open sky of limitless infinity. He felt that he was called by the divine to leave the cocooned life of severe limits and fling himself into the vast open sky of limitless infinity. This was his first journey as a mendicant, traversing from the deep south to the far north, entirely relying on the indwelling reality alone, every day, every step, every breath. Papa Swami Ramdas's endless struggles in his mundane life, resulting in utter helplessness, led his advent into the world as a mendicant. He heard the inner voice of God. It was like a plank thrown towards a man struggling for the very life in the stormy waves of a raging sea. On 27th December 1922, at 5 o'clock in the morning, he left Mangalore by train, by bidding farewell to a world for which he had lost all attraction and in which he could find nothing to call his own. The body, the mind, the soul, all were laid at the feet of God. 2 points we were prompted to dwell upon. One is the inner voice. When he cried, he was passing through stressful period. So when he cried, where is rest, where is peace? The answer came from within. Despair not, trust me, you shall be free. This was the voice of Ram. Ram means subtle and mysterious power, the indwelling reality in all of us. So here, we try to understand the whole success of his spiritual journey was based upon this. Because when he heard the voice from within, nobody need tell him God is within. No? The first experience of God's presence within. So as aspirants or sevaks or sadhakas, we are now pining for this. We are praying to him. We have been doing Ramnam for so many decades. We have been praying. We have been reading your books. So many things. Whatever is possible, our mind was telling that we are spiritual aspirants. But still, you have not given us that experience that you are within us. So the inner voice, in whatever way you choose fit, please make me to become aware of it. This was the first point. I must have this authentication, stamping that you are within me. That can come only when I have the direct experience of your presence. So a sadhaka should intensely aspire for this. And second, vairagya, dispassion. That will come only, that sort of a mental state Papa could reach because his mind was totally free from all preoccupations with the comfort zones. That is why he could boldly say, at 5 o'clock in the morning, he left Mangalore by train, by bidding farewell to a world for which he had lost all attraction, in which he could find nothing to call his own. Free from possessions, free from attachment. So these are the two conditions, tough condition, not an easy condition, which will entail us to have the privilege of hearing his voice. And Papa's quotation in this board, a seeker's likes and dislikes, favours and prejudices set up a thick wall on his path. He should fling himself into the infinite life. That means I should be free from likes and dislikes, rights and wrongs, preferences, priorities, favours, prejudices. Because that is the stumbling block, Why I am not hearing? These are all the things that are stumbling block. Only when I remove this, I will be able to see him. So he says, Papa says, a seeker's likes and dislikes, favours and prejudices set up a thick wall on his path. He should fling himself into the infinite life. So from Mangalore we start. Srirangam, Passing through Erode and Trichy, Papa was guided to the banks of Kaveri, where he renounced all that he was holding dearly, including his name Vittal Rao. For him, sannyas was like being lifted by the divine from the narrow pond of a worldly life and thrown into an extensive ocean of a universal life. That is called sannyas. Sannyas, previously we were identifying with a small circle based on the individual. Here is an attempt to get out of that fence and identify with the universal. Clear-cut definition. And Papa says, sannyas is a dedication of our entire being to the Lord and His service. It is a spontaneous wave of aspiration rising from within our own heart. Not to anybody else, to Him and Him alone, who is the indwelling and all-pervading reality. Previously, we are not aware. So we were identifying with the sense of individuality in us. So now, the common denominator, the common factor in all of us, that is identified. So we try to come out of the cage created by ourselves. Rameshwaram and Dhanushkodi, throwing himself entirely at the feet of God, Papa travelled wherever he was guided to with an empty pocket, just 2 clothes and a few books, all his possessions in the world. Hurdles did not hold him back. He managed to find something positive in every experience. Where others found prickly thorns, he saw fragrant roses. So inner voice to confirm that God is within. To reach that stage, dispassion is necessary. That means exclusively concentrating on Him. And then for that, we have to come out of the fence of me and mine. And then the next one is, always you be positive. Because God is guiding you. God cannot go wrong. Papa says, so that is where others found prickly thorns, he saw fragrant roses. In a rose plant, there are roses as well as thorns. If we want to enjoy seeing the roses, seeing that, our concentration should be on the roses. If we look at the thorns, may not. Equally, thorns are valid. To have the rose, naturally, God has given this characteristic to that rose plant, where its nature is to have thorns. So it is not that it is invalid. But we will not have pained a negative thing. Oh, thorns. Papa says, optimism leads you Godward, while pessimism pushes you down into the morass of skepticism, despair, and woe. So, third prerequisite. From there to Madurai. As his one and only guide and guardian, G and G capital. In English, you have got this wonderful facility. Whenever we bring it a capital letter, it represents for God. In the other languages, that is why when they translate, they are finding it difficult. Very difficult. Here, as his one and only guide and guardian, GG capital, led him further. He saw many wonders of art and architecture. But behind every carved stone and beneath every masterpiece, he found the signature of his master. Every towering structure showed him the splendorous glory of the Creator. So, signature of his master, he found. Everything has come from that. Then we are not seeing the creation or the splendor apart from him. The creation are not apart from the creator. Creator in the form of creation. That is the signature. So, as a spirit, along with the positive aspect, the next one is to see his signature in everything. Papa says, be the light unto yourself and in your own original way, manifest the magnificence and power of your enlightened life. Be highly creative, set free the infinite power that is within you. Actually, this particular quotation was an eye-opener for all of us. Previously, when we were thinking about spiritual studies, we were thinking that it is totally disconnected with the common run of life. When we look at the common run of life, every day new things are arriving, in every field. Every field there is a creative work that is going on. So when we were building an impression that spirituality is nothing to do with this, how are we to go along with it? Here Papa answers, spirituality means bringing out the inherent power within us. The only condition is it should be free from vested interest, that's all. Be the light unto yourself and in your own original way. When we later on come to know that he has actuated our life, naturally he has got a mission through every one of us. So to bring out that mission, he has also invested in us the needed potentiality, capability. We have to unearth it, unleash it. We have to bring it out. Here Papa clearly says, be the light unto yourself and in your own original way. Don't imitate. Manifest the magnificence and power of your enlightened life. Be highly creative and set free the infinite power that is within you. That is why you and I are enjoying everything. The inherent power invested by Almighty Lord of the Universe are brought out for the welfare of His own creation. Then, from there, Madurai to Chidambaram. His path was often paved with hurdles, but with no grumbling or mumbling. He went on embracing every situation cheerfully. At unexpected corners, he found the generous providence of God. He did as exactly as he was prompted to. At the same time, whenever things did not happen as expected, he took even the non-fulfillment as his will and wish. Fulfillment and non-fulfillment. Sudden tragedy comes, Papa, God is putting us into, suppose we feel God is now putting us into a test, then we will take it, I won't say coolly, but the cushioning effect will be there. We will not be shattered. In Papa's case, both in fulfillment and non-fulfillment was taken as his wish to fine-tune us, to purify us, to make us his fit instruments. So what are the things that make me eligible to become his devotee is coming one by one now. Starting from inner voice, then from dispassion, then from the individual to the universal, and from then
Dispassion, Swami, dispassion.
Dispassion is covered.
over, then
Positive.
becoming positive, seeing the signature in everything. And so then now in Chidambaram, his path was often paved with hurdles, with no grumbling or mumbling. He went on, embracing every situation cheerfully. At unexpected corners, he found the generous providence of God. He did as exactly he was prompted to. At the same time, whenever things did not happen as expected, he took even the non-fulfillment as his will and wish. And Papa says, life must flow spontaneously like a river. Whatever act you do will in this condition be utterly divine. Don't have any misgivings or doubts. Push on until the great truth within you reveals itself in all its glory through every part of your being. You can put me in any situation, I will not leave you, like that, I want you to come out from within to open and make me aware that you are there. Until such time, I am not going to leave you. That's what he says here. And from there we move to Tirupapuliyur. Surprises awaited him everywhere. Strangers became friends. Those who misjudged his attire and appearance and called him names later came to realize his worth and became admiring benefactors. In unfriendly encounters, he would never react on impulse. Eventually, they turned out to be benevolent experience. Another point for all of us. Don't react on impulse. Papa says, do not forget that you live and move in a world which is really a passing show. Do not be attached to it, nor be in any way identified with it. Take the whole world game for what it is worth. This will also pass away. This will also pass away. This will also pass away. We keep on reminding ourselves. Another point for us. Every board gives us some point for us in our day-to-day life. Ups and downs will be there. Plus and minus experience will be there. Positive and negative experience will be there. Nobody is exempt. We need a technique by which we don't get depressed, dejected, dispirited. These are all some of the clues. Pondicherry. God proposes, God disposes. That is how the old saying meant for Papa. We say man proposes, God disposes. To Papa, God proposes, God disposes. Since he always believed that God is the guide, unfulfilled outcomes did not lead him to despair or disappointment. Like a feather, like a feather drifting in the breeze, he wandered along without any resistance or reluctance. Another point. Without any resistance or reluctance. Adapting. Human life, Papa says, human life is rich with gifts which God has poured into it. For God himself is at the source of all lives in the world. This is another point which Papa keeps on harping. Go to the source of your and the world life. Then only everything will become clearer and clearer to us. First intellectually, and then our efforts will be on the experientially. Human life is rich with gifts which God has poured into it. Why, For God himself is at the source of all lives in the world. And from there we move to Tiruvannamalai. Papa's travels took him to diverse experiences, from meandering through crowded streets to meditating in a cave for a month in full solitude. He felt God's living presence in every breath. Every creature around the cave reminded him of his providence. His fellowship with the nature was so close that even squirrels would come to eat from his hand without any fear. Identification becomes complete. Here he says, Prayer and meditation open up a channel of communication with God so that His grace may fill you, transform your life into His very image. So prayer and meditation. Every board, gives us some clues. Suppose we note it down and find out which are the areas where we have to improve upon. It will give us more and more clarity. 1 month he was in Tiruvannamalai.
I have noted down and made a PPT. I'll send you for corrections.
She's noted down and made a PPT. She'll send you for correction.
So prayer and meditation open up a channel of communication with God so that His grace may fill you and transform your life into His very image. Prayer and meditation. And from there we go to Tirupati. As he wandered from place to place, he did not know what to do with or where to go next. But he knew one thing. This is a beautiful way. For sure that his master has got a plan, the master plan of his journey of life. This is another clue for us. Always we should know, we are thinking we are making the plans. But it is He who is seated within, is prompting us to make the plans. And we take over the ownership. Right from our tiniest to the grossest. He knew one thing, that his master has got the plan, and the master plan of his journey of life. As much as he found his presence around him, he also knew that what he was seeking was within. What he was seeking was within. Papa says, repetition of Ram Nam simultaneously with meditation on the great ideal is perfectly right. But the remembrance must flow in the mind without break. Here, we all get a clarity that we were thinking chanting, chanting, chanting without the background. No, remembrance is important. Chanting is for remembrance. He says, but the remembrance must flow in the mind without break, like the stream of oil poured from one vessel into another. Remembrance, remembrance, and remembrance. Kalahasti. What is the whole purpose of his journey? Papa once encountered this question. He had no doubt or hesitance in quest of God. It was clear to him that God is everywhere, but he wanted to experience the same. And he felt this wherever he went, whoever he met. To him, all signs and signals led to one direction, to God. Having known that God is within, why did he undertake this trip? Normally the question comes. So here the clue is given to all of us. Why do we undertake? Why are we made to pass through different experiences? To know that He is there in that experience. To know that He is there in that individual. To know that He is there in that situation. To know that He is there in that object. Otherwise, suppose I sit here and only do this, I may not know. The moment I am exposed, I will not be able to hold on.
Affirmation.
Affirmation. To have it stamped. So what is the purpose of this journey? In quest of God. To him, all signs and signals led to one direction, God. Papa says, turn your mind day by day toward the immortal source of your life, God. Bijam Mam Sarvabhutanam, no? He is the source of everything. Turn your mind day by day toward the immortal source of your life, God. Let your actions flow like gentle streams, singing the melodious song of divine service. Behold your beloved everywhere. up to 13. We will take it up later on from 14 tomorrow. So this is how the board, Papa willing, we are going to put up this board again. Let us see in one area, so that we remember during our trips, whenever we had opportunities to present this. As soon as people hear this, they will immediately ask, "Can you send this to us?" Because in 30 boards, in 1 hour, 1.5 hours, we have a quick run of the entire episodes in the book. 37 chapters are there, starting with stress, ending with serenity. But to capture the whole thing, it was the toughest job. But he guided and brought forward this. So every now and then when we keep on reading and doing manana and tallying with our day-to-day experience, the life so far we lived, it has to be integrated with these. Then we find, oh, that is how he gave me to that experience. That is why he made me to pass through that experience. Then, slowly he is entering into us. Previously it was his experience. Now we are trying to merge it into our experience so that Papa is slowly entering into us. This is the purpose of this. So more of it tomorrow. Hari Om. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai